today is Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. We are here for a town board meeting and in addition to a CDA meeting. As always, we'll stand and we'll do the pledge, and Tim, can you please take the lead?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tim. And Frank, do we have anyone from the faith community?
Yes, in keeping with our faith-based invocation, we have with us today Reverend Janet Wright from the Interfaith Ministry. Thank you for coming, Reverend.
Thank you for having me. I thank you for letting the clergy join your meeting. And we are separate, yet we support each other. And we hold the thought of love of God, home, and country. In addition, this is a very historic day of celebration of our democracy, as you probably also watched the inauguration, the peaceful transfer of power. Our belief in the principles and ethics of government is an integral part of the government of the United States of America, and it is an awesome responsibility, and also for our local town officials. Therefore, we call upon God of many names to be with you in your deliberations here today, and I ask you to join me in prayer. Please join me. Gracious and loving God, we thank you for human government that makes our society possible. We give thanks for the administration and services of justice, safety, education, recreation, health, and well-being that comes to us through our town government. We ask you to guide them by your Spirit within them as their vision, planning, and decision-making affect not only them and their families, but all of us together. You, O God, are the source of all hope that is given us. We ask these servants of the people of Riverhead to be spared from both cynicism and burnout that threatens those in public service. May they be saved from the temptations of pride and self-aggrandizement that plagues us all and causes us to be and do less than our best. May those who are gathered together here today on this Zoom meeting at this time be a blessing to each other. Bless the members of this town board with compassion for all people of our town, whatever political party or religion or denomination, for we are all your children. I pray these words as a Christian, yet in this meeting we know you, O God, in many ways. So we ask this blessing by whatever way or name we call you, in great confidence and knowledge that you, O God, hear and love us all. Amen.
Amen.
And thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you, Reverend. Before we get started, we have several announcements. First, the distribution of COVID-19 vaccine is underway, and some residents have received their first dose, but many more have not. Please know I share in the frustration so many of you are experiencing in trying to secure appointments for the first dose of the vaccine. In fact, I am still waiting for an appointment myself. Chief Hegemiller and I have been actively advocating for more doses as well as more vaccine locations. We have secured a location here in Riverhead, and it is fully operational. We're just waiting for the shipment of the vaccines, which I'm told should be very soon, hopefully within the next few days. I am pleased to report that these efforts appear to have paid off, and we will be finalizing further details as to the distribution in the very near future. And I will be advising the entire community, and it will be on our website, any efforts that are put forth. In the meantime, please be patient and remain vigilant, and continue following the 3 W's as we use here in Riverhead, which is wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask. COVID testing sites remain open and available throughout Riverhead, and you can find locations of those sites on our town website. Second, and very briefly, I want to address the events taking place today in Washington by saying I hope it is a peaceful transition for power, and that our leaders in DC work together for the betterment of all Americans. That is the philosophy I have applied since I took office last year, and I will not stop working for the benefit of Riverhead and for each and every resident of our great town. Third, the town of Riverhead shotgun hunting for deer season program at EPCAL and 1751 Sound Avenue in Calverton commenced on January 3rd, 2021, and will terminate on January 31st, 2021, and it's all done by Riverhead permit only. The recreational path, woods, and fields located there will also be closed to the public in the interest of safety. However, the dog park walk will continue to be open. Please note that the town-owned property located on Middle Road, Riverhead, on the north side, west of Mill Road, is also closed until January 31st, 2021, inclusive due to bow hunting activities. Fourth, the Riverhead Safe Program, established at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, continues to operate from our senior center and is available for any senior who may need assistance with delivery, and essential items will be delivered directly to their doors. We also have started a senior hotline, 631-727-3200, extension 653. It's available and manned on Tuesdays and Thursdays between the hours of 9:30 and 12:30. However, calls left on the answering machine are returned in 1 to 2 days. And the service is available to assist you with any questions you may have, transportation. They work very closely with the senior center, who's been done a tremendous job under these circumstances. However, if you want any questions or have any concern about assistance for utilities or any other questions, please call the hotline. Fifth, any resident in need of emergency food assistance, please call 311 to reach a Suffolk County Cares emergency food delivery person. A box of non-perishable food enough to feed 4 people for 3 days will be delivered Monday through Friday, and there is no exclusion. Anyone at any age can apply for that service. Lastly, as most of you know by now, while COVID remains we remain under a state of emergency due to the COVID-19 executive order by the governor and the county and Riverhead. We need to conduct public hearings in a virtual, so there were 3 forms of viewing these meetings. Number 1, you can view it live on your television on channel 22. Number 2, you can log on to the Riverhead Town website. And number 3, you can use the Zoom credentials that are posted also on the town website. So moving forward, today we are honored to welcome Margaret Pickersgill, wife of the late Riverhead businessman Ray Pickersgill, for a presentation in memory and honoring his great contributions to our town. If you ever experienced the excitement of the annual Riverhead Card Boat Race or purchased produce at the indoor farmers market, you have reaped the benefits of Ray Pickersgill. Labor of love, and he was totally devoted to the town of Riverhead. If you knew Ray, you have witnessed the passion and energy he possessed. If you worked alongside him, you were bounded to get caught up within him. Ray adopted the town of Riverhead when he, together with his wife Margaret, here today, and daughter Lisa, opened Robert James Salon. And for nearly 2 decades, Ray worked tireless to enhance our downtown area and develop it into a preferred travel destination for both residents and tourists alike. Sadly, Ray left us far too early. It is a tremendous loss to our community. But as the revitalization of downtown Riverhead continues, we know he is smiling down upon us. On behalf of myself and the entire town board, please accept, Margaret, this proclamation as the lasting tribute to a great man in Riverhead. You can come forward, and this is a copy of the,
Such a good man.
Yes, he was.
This is just a gesture. He is much bigger than this.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
And thank you for sharing him with us, with the town.
He loved it. He loved doing it. I knew Ray and the whole Robert James family from the business, and he really did love our town, and he moved us forward so much. It's really kind of fitting that today, when we have a lot of resolutions having to do with revitalization of downtown, that we're honoring Ray at this particular meeting.
Thank you.
So our thoughts and prayers are with you guys and your whole family.
Thank you.
There wasn't an event that he wasn't involved in, that he wasn't there hours afterwards, cleaning up, picking up the chairs, sweating, working his butt off, and he just did a great job. He loved the town, and we loved what he did for us. When I first met him, it was after I first got elected, and he came into my office and sat down and introduced himself, and we had a real long chat about tow trucks and what he did prior to his involvement here, and he had some really good stories. It was very interesting to listen to him, so.
Happy had a lot of stories.
Yes, he did. But very enjoying the talk too, and we love what he did for the town.
Thank you.
And again, thank you for sharing him with us.
Thank you.
And whenever you got to the shop, talking of stories, he would often be sitting in the back steps, talking with people about the
Yep.
town.
All the time.
Right.
All the time. He loved it. He loved it.
We need more like him.
Yep.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all.
Thank you,
Thank
Mrs.
you so
Pickles.
much.
And to Lisa.
Well, that surely makes you, your throat tighten up a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, moving forward, can I have a first and a second to close, the town board meeting and open up the community development meeting?
Motion?
Second.
So moved.
Okay, Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The CDA meeting is now open.
Okay, Dawn Thomas, our CDA director, would you please come forward, Dawn? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have 3 resolutions on today. 2 are our organizational meeting annual resolutions we do every year. The one, third one, which is actually the first one, is a little bit more exciting than that. So I can go ahead and start calling them. Resolution, well, actually, we need comments on
We need
resolutions
comments,
first.
yes.
Yeah, so,
Dawn, did you wanna approve the minutes first?
oh yeah, sure, let's,
Why don't we do that and then it'd be easier, right, maybe?
sure, we need a vote to approve the minutes of our regular meeting on December 15th at 2 p.m. I need a motion and a second.
Motion?
Second?
Okay, Rothwell?
I'm just gonna abstain just because I was not present for the meeting.
Okay. Bayron?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Okay, the minutes of December 15th are approved, so we can move on to comments on resolutions.
Okay, so Chip, or anyone in queue concerning comments on these 3 specific resolutions? We're not talking about all the resolutions, we're only talking about the CDA.
Supervisor, I understand we have a couple people in the meeting room to make
For
comments on the
CDA
CDA resos, yes.
Okay, fine, perfect.
So we'll bring up first Mike Foley. There'll be just a slight delay and then he'll appear on the screen. Mr. Foley, we'll just remind you, we need your name and hamlet for the record. And we'll also, of course, have 5 minutes for you to make all your comments, after which the board may or may not respond. Do we have Mike?
Good
There he is.
afternoon. Can you
Happy
hear me
New
okay?
Year!
I'm having some technical difficulties here, so forgive me if there's any problem on my end. I know it's not on your end today.
No.
My name is Mike Foley, I'm with Reeves Park, and I have a question on resolution 4, number 1. The resolution authorized financial administrator to finalize bond requirements of the Town Square project. The Town Square project is a wonderful project that I'm sure will become the anchor of Main Street. And most of the town, as you're aware of that, was really brought on board by the Urban Design Associates people, who I thought just did a phenomenal job on organizing the town, getting feedback from the town, presenting those ideas in a format that was both visual and audio, and really got people bought into the project. And then, of course, you, Yvette, and I'm sure you had able assistance from other town board people, was able to get, as I understand, some funding towards this project. So I see the way the resolution number 1 is designed. It's speaking about purchasing the properties and covering the cost of demolition of the properties at an expense not to exceed $5.5 million. I guess my question to you and to Dawn and to Bob, whoever can answer it, is certainly Urban Design Associates is going to have a continuing role on the way this town square is built. That's going to be discussed in the next town board resolution meeting immediately following that one. And I saw that the fee on that was $143,000. $143,000 on a $5.5 million project is about 3% of the total cost. It is money extremely well spent, in my opinion, but I didn't know why you were looking to take on the $143,000 out of a general fund's town expense rather than folding that $143,000 into this portion of the CDA resolution so that the money, the $143,000, would be bonded out as well as the rest of it. That's my question. I'd appreciate an answer, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Sure. Dawn?
Hi, Mike, thank you very much for the question. Just initially, this first resolution is a duplicated resolution. There's a CDA resolution and also a town board resolution. The reason for that is because the town and the CDA are the town's gonna acquire the property, the CDA will ultimately dispose of the property. As a community development agency, we have the ability to fund and sponsor urban renewal projects in urban renewal areas, which this is one, East Main Street Urban Renewal Area. Second, the project is probably well more than 5.5 million. The 5.5 million is for the acquisition and demolition and all of our consulting costs, which Urban Design Associates will be paid for in part by grant money. We had received $800,000 as an initial grant from New York State. $300,000 of that is for consulting fees specifically. The balance of it is for capital expenditures. So ultimately, the town board and or the board of the CDA, depending upon how we decide it best to go forward, will select a developer for the proposal, and that developer will build out the project. So the project build out will be more than 5.5 million, probably substantially more than that, but won't be a taxpayer expense. It'll be a private developer expense. So our obligation is to acquire the land, create the parcel where the development can take place for urban renewal, and in order for us to get reimbursed for the grant funds, we need to bond it all up front first. That's the only way you get reimbursed for grant money. They never give it to you up front. You have to spend it and then be reimbursed. So that's why we needed to do the bond, but in the end, it's hoped, and I don't think it's far-fetched to say that the project would be completed without taxpayer funding at all. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, very good. And thank you, Mike, for supporting this project. We are excited about this, and I think today, downtown Riverhead is moving forward in a very, very positive way. Dawn, you have us, Oh, you have more people to wait
We
on
do.
the, okay,
We do, so we'll go to the next person waiting to comment on CDA rezos, which is John McAuliffe.
okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
John McAuliffe from the Rollingwood section of Riverhead. You must be a little tired of Mike and I gracing each of your meetings with comments, but nevertheless, I'm sorry to feel obligated to do this. This comes about because of the letter that was just released that you sent to the Suffolk County Water Authority.
Mr. McAuliffe, let me just interrupt you and just remind you, this is comments on CDA resolutions only. Are you gonna comment on one of the CDA rezos?
No, well, all right, okay, I should have said that at the beginning. There isn't a CDA agenda posted, so it was hard to tell at what point this should come up. No, it's a general comment to CDA, and it,
Okay, we'll look into the agenda, issue. If there isn't one posted, we'll make sure we rectify that right away. But did you wanna
All right.
comment on any of the CDA rezos before us?
no, I want to comment to CDA.
Okay, so
instead of-
after rezos, John, we're gonna open it up for public comment on any other matter related to CDA, so maybe it would fall in that category.
That would be more appropriate.
Okay,
no
great,
question.
so we'll get back to you during that time. Okay, Supervisor, that concludes any comments on CDA rezos.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward, and Dawn, can you please read the resolutions?
Sure, thank you. CDA Resolution 2021-1, resolution to authorize, and this is great, this is your first resolution of the CDA for the year, so it's number one. Resolution to authorize the financial administrator to finalize bond requirements for Town Square project. We need a motion and a second.
Motion?
Okay, second?
Second?
Okay.
Vote, please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Absolutely.
Fantastic, the resolution is adopted. CDA Resolution 2021-2, omnibus resolution relating to the requirements of the Public Authorities Accountability Act of 2005 and ratifying all prior committee charters and policies and of the Community Development Agency.
So moved.
Second?
Vote, please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution number 2 is adopted. CDA Resolution 2021-3 appoints members and officers of the Community Development Agency. Need a motion and a second.
Motion. Can I get a motion?
Motion?
Okay, second?
Seconded?
Okay, great.
Vote, please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted, and that will leave it open to comments, general comments from the public on CDA matters.
Okay, Chip, do we have anyone in the waiting room?
We do, we'll go to Mr. McAuliffe, Supervisor, and
Okay.
I'll just take a minute to just confirm, for Mr. McAuliffe that the agenda is indeed posted online. I just got confirmation of that, so if you need help finding it, we can walk you through that. Our office can help you with that, but it is there. So you'll have 5 minutes, sir, to make all your comments.
Great, it's just not visible on, when you go to the town website, but those things happen, it's not a major issue. As I started to say, I'm intervening or commenting because of the letter that was sent yesterday to the Suffolk County Water Authority. I don't doubt the legitimacy of the unanimous position of the members of the board about the authority of Riverhead over on this question. However, I think it needs to be stated on behalf of the documents you've received from EPCAL Watch and other people's concern that the lead line in your letter is somewhat misleading or delusional or magical thinking, I'm afraid. You talk about a legal and binding contract. We think you have not met your responsibility to walk away from this contract. You talk about a qualified and eligible real estate developer, and the the changes that have taken place between the original hearing and today mean that you're not dealing with the people or dealing with the entity that you held the hearing about. That is, the Germasians' financial situation is obviously still in very grave doubt because of the problems of their primary properties in the malls in New Jersey and Minnesota. But also the original designer of this project, Illuminati, is become a completely bankrupt and discredited entity. So we think you don't really have a qualified and eligible developer. So that's a misstatement or delusional or magical thinking. And finally, while we would love it to be the case, when you say that that project will provide needed high-quality jobs and prosperity, we think that that is somewhat wishful thinking based on the knowledge we actually have at this point about what they're capable of doing. What their ultimate goal really is, who knows? I have my own theories, and we have disagreed about those, but that's not the point. The question is, what do you do? The whole tone of this letter is obviously, if not threatening, is certainly assertive, and you're giving them a 10-day deadline. And I'd be interested to know what your next step is if they respond to this in disagreement and not accepting your statements. But at any rate, I also wish that you would not have made such an assertive statement in the opening paragraph.
Does that conclude your comments, Mr. McAuliffe?
Yeah, yes, it does. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you.
And there is a question there. First of all, why throw that language in? Was it just boilerplate, or are you still locked into those three sections that I noted, or those three phrases that I noted? And second, what do you do if they reject your protest?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We don't have any other folks that are looking to comment on
Okay.
any other CDA matter, Supervisor.
No problem. And so, do we have any comments from the board?
Just quickly on Mr. McAuliffe's question, in regards to what happens, it's gonna depend on what their answer is, and that's gonna be part of whether it becomes a legal mission or whatever the case may be, that will be part of our strategy based on whatever the answer that comes out of this.
And I just want to say, in agreement with Tim on this, we really need to know firmly, one way or the other, what their intention is, if they're going to release us from their grips to provide the water or not. We can't move forward until that happens. And so I think giving them a 10-day time frame was very generous, but at least at the end of the 10 days, we will know what their intention is and how to proceed at that point.
Catherine? Did you want to add some statements?
No, I think they both summed it up.
Okay, and Ken?
Yep, I
All right,
absolutely agree.
so, the primary purpose of this letter is to stop the Suffolk County Water Authority from making claims into Riverhead. And obviously through EPCAL there's a 2009 letter where they attempted to service EPCAL. Regardless of who buys the land and the contract, we had to put it in there to make them aware of it. However, the main goal here is to not have the Suffolk County Water Authority take over the Riverhead Water District. If this happens, our water pressure will decrease. It can damage our aquifer. It can lessen our pressure. It will most definitely increase our prices. And we need to protect our water district. And in addition, people who are serviced by the Suffolk County Water Authority have to pay what's called a hydrant tax. That is approximately $200 to $250 per hydrant. If we have to do that, we have 1,600 hydrants here in Riverhead. That will be a cost of $320,000 going right to the taxpayers to make up for that account. And it does not account for the increase in prices. We have low prices here compared to all of Suffolk. We need to preserve our water district, And when I ran for office, I said, I knew that they were trying to take it over, I had information, I had, documentation, and we need now to ensure that there's a fight now, and we're ready to fight that. And the entire board created the letter, and we sent it forward, and we will continue fighting. We do not want the Suffolk County Water Authority having their paws in Riverhead. Anybody else wanna add?
Perfect.
No, I think we're pretty much all in agreement with that.
Okay.
Agreed.
All right, moving forward to the next item.
We can now, now we've concluded comments, we can adjourn the meeting. So I would call, ask for a motion for a resolution to close the CDA meeting and reopen the town board meeting.
Motion to close CDA and open the town board meeting?
Seconded.
Okay, great. Rothwell?
Vote
Yes.
please.
Oh, Ayrot?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Okay, the CDA meeting is closed and the town board meeting open.
Thank you, Dawn, and congratulations. Your effort in Town Square is now official. We can all move forward, and we look forward to promising events, and we're not stopping here. We're not stopping
Thank
here.
you.
We are all other plans, and finally, we're moving forward, and is Anne Marie here? I know she did a lot of the work with, so I'm sure if she's not watching, please send from myself and the entire town board. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Can I have a first and a second to approve the town board meetings from the last town board meeting dated January 5th, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
It was an honor to be sworn in the last meeting, but because I was not present for the entire meeting, I will abstain.
Okay. Bayrott.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
Diane, do we have any communications or reports?
We do. I'll start with reports. Under reports, we have Police Department. They submitted their December 2020 monthly report. Town Clerk, December 2000 monthly report was $8,270.05. Tax Receiver submitted their total tax collection to date as of January 13th. And that was $68,509,837.40. And under correspondence, there was a letter from Barbara Blass, and she had comments on the comprehensive plan with respect to the Central Advisory Committee. In addition, that's not on the agenda, I did have seven letters, emails from this morning, and they were all in opposition to the public hearing, and that was, that's Resolution 69, and that's for outdoor car storage. And I do believe everyone received those in their email form.
Yes.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Diane.
You're welcome.
Moving forward, we do not have any public hearings scheduled for today. So we're gonna go right into public comments on the resolutions that are gonna be presented before us. Chip, do we have anyone in the waiting room on, public comments on the resolutions?
We do, Supervisor. We have several people looking to make comments on resolutions before the town board today. So first, we'll bring up Angela DeVito. It's connecting. So we'll just remind everybody in the meeting room while we're waiting for this to connect that we need their names, we need their hamlets, and they'll have 5 minutes to make all their comments and ask all their questions. And when they're finished, or when 5 minutes is finished, whatever's first, that's when the town board may or may not respond. Ms. DeVito, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Angela DeVito. I live on Green Street in South Jamesport. I'm speaking this afternoon on Resolution 2021-60, and which is the resolution to adopt the pattern book. I am urging that this town board vote unanimously to adopt this measure. My reasons for such are several. First, the adoption of the pattern book culminates one of the most daring and exciting endeavors by the residents of this town and our town elected officials in many, many years. Secondly, the Downtown Revitalization Committee represents a template for true participatory democracy that can be continued to be offered to residents in this town. Under the exceptionally insightful and persistent guidance of Councilwoman Catherine Kent, this committee brought together the very specific skill sets needed for the task. All possible stakeholder sectors had a seat at the table. Cronyism played no part in the choice of members, just the desire to bring talented individuals to the table. The successful creation of this committee and its subsequent work product are a direct result of the view Councilwoman Kent has consistently brought to the work of local governance. Her belief in gathering together the talents needed to move Riverhead forward is not only with great merit, but stands as an example of what we, the residents of Riverhead, should grow to expect of our local government. A special thank you to all of the members of the Downtown Revitalization Committee for their hard work and the many hours spent that bring us to this resolution of today. A thank you to all the hundreds of citizens who proactively participated in the work of this committee through public forums, stakeholder meetings, and online surveys. And of course, a very special thank you to Councilwoman Kent for her vision and leadership. Thirdly, I'm encouraged by the resolution's reference to develop and implement form-based zoning. This approach to development is indeed the correct one, that will move us forward and enable us to meet the needs and wants of all stakeholders in a responsible and reasonable manner. As we go forward with the work of updating the town master or comprehensive plan, careful and serious thought should be given to town-wide form-based zoning. It will rid us, quite frankly, once and for all the backward chokehold that pre-existing non-conforming use zoning has visited upon us time and time again. And finally, the workings as well as the organization of the Downtown Revitalization Committee serve as a wondrous example for future local government endeavors. It has been clearly demonstrated by the work product before us today, the benefits of true participatory democracy. All voices were heard with plentiful advanced opportunity to do so. It is a template for streamlining processes and participation for all stakeholders in the future. It removes partisan bickering and distractions. I hope that we do not relegate this process to just a single instance, but instead look to embrace it on a more consistent basis. In closing, I again urge you to vote yes on Resolution 2021-60 and to apply the lessons from this historic effort to the work of our comprehensive town plan. Forget party lines and vote for what is best for Riverhead. Thank you very much for this opportunity and have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Angela.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Nice
Any
endorsement.
comments?
This audio is paid for by Friends of Catherine Kent.
Well, I think this was an effort on many fronts. It wasn't political. I personally know, as soon as I was elected office in November, I met with Barry Long from the pattern book, and I gave him, and I've said it before, 10 instrumental components that had to be implemented into the book. It took a different direction. It was no longer a pretty picture book, as I did call it at one time, and now I urge them to put the zoning in. It was critical, and it did take a direction. The planning department worked with, and he's here with Jeff McMurphy, and the town board had influence. The CDA was instrumental in that, and this was a huge effort on a lot of fronts. And we do thank the Riverhead Revitalization Committee and everyone who became a critical component of this book. And the resolution is going before us, and I don't think it will be a politicized resolution. So can we move forward to the next speaker, please?
Absolutely. So we have somebody else in the meeting room looking to comment on the same resolution. We'll bring James Farley forward. Mr. Farley, can you hear us?
Good afternoon. You have to unmute yourself on the, there we go.
Okay, we can hear you. Just a reminder, sir, you'll have 5 minutes to make all your comments or ask any questions.
Sure. I think really I'm just here today
Just to start, we need your name, we need your hamlet for the transcriptionist.
James Farley, South Jamesport,
Thank you.
co-chair of the Downtown Revitalization Committee.
Great.
I'm just here to provide extra supportive comments from the committee, myself and co-chair Janice Shearer, who was not able to be with me here today because she had a work-related commitment during the afternoon. And for simply, I appreciate the comments from Angela DeVito. Janice and I have put together just a short letter in support of the proposal, and I'd like to read that to you, and then you can move on with your day. As
Sure.
co-chairs of the Downtown Revitalization Committee, it is our pleasure to see the culmination of the process for a pattern book for our historic downtown. It has always been the committee's opinion that investment in downtown begins with the town board. Our previous supervisor, our committee town board liaison, Councilwoman Catherine Kent, along with former town councilman Jim Wooten, understood the value that a pattern book would bring to our community's decision-making. It is to the credit of their support, the efforts of all our committee members, and the robust participation from our community that we are here today. It will be to your credit as well today with your support of Urban Design Associates' final version of the pattern book and the zoning code amendments it recommends. We believe the board must establish performance expectations that will assure citizens that the total design of the community, how proposed buildings fit into their natural and built context in a harmonious and attractive way, is a major consideration in the planning and design of buildings in downtown Riverhead. At the same time, the board must give to landowners and their design professionals the freedom to come up with thoughtful and innovative solutions to design problems. To do this, they need not only clear performance standards, but also flexibility and a clear review process. Working as a constructive partner with project designers, the pattern book will establish as a basis to discourage boring and poorly designed buildings and encourage quality and sustainable development. This should result in attractive and thought-provoking buildings and site design that will add beauty and visual interest along Main Street and from the Peconic River. This high design aesthetic will reflect the strength and character of Riverhead, and our downtown deserves nothing less. We applaud all the people who came out to participate in our committee's public process, all the board members and downtown business folks who gave their input and advice, and most of all, we applaud this town board for doing the right thing to protect our community and to help us create something special that we can all be proud of. We welcome the board's town square concept development and fully support its inclusion in the pattern book, and are especially appreciative of the transit-oriented development plan for the Railroad Avenue Urban Renewal Area, the TOD's reference to the pattern book for development standards in that initiative as well. Please support adoption of the pattern book with your vote today. It is most encouraging that the development of Riverhead's downtown will move forward with the guidance of the nationally prominent design professionals at UDA, with the valuable input of the entire Riverhead community. Thank you very much for your support. Myself and Janice Shearer, co-chairs of the Downtown Revitalization Committee.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Ford.
with that, I hope you can all vote for it. And I think it's a great step forward in all the various components we've mentioned to you in the context of our support here today. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Foley.
thank you. Okay, next in the meeting room, we'll bring up Barbara Blass, who evidently wants to make a comment on resolutions before the board today.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, we can hear you.
Barbara.
Hi. I was actually going to comment only on Resolution 69, but I do want to echo all of the comments that have made thus far about not only the exemplary pattern book that you're poised to adopt, but the fact that it was such an inclusive process. And I commend each and every one of you who was involved and hope that you take a page out of that book and echo that process and inclusionary perspective as you approach the comprehensive plan. I hope it's done in the same way. And kudos to each and every one of you, and for Councilman Kent, who was at the forefront of the effort. My comments today were on resolution number 69, and that's the outdoor vehicle storage resolution.
Mm-hmm.
I realize that the resolution is only authorizing a public hearing on a zoning code amendment, but I hope that you keep in mind two things as the amendment makes its way through the process.
First, I don't know where you are in the seeker process, but ultimately this will be a type 1 action requiring a hard look as is defined in the law. And second, the amendment you're proposing, which grants to a select parcel of land or few parcels of land a use that differs from the classification and use of other lands in the immediate area, is the classic definition of spot zoning. It amounts to an arbitrary and capricious treatment of a limited area within a particular zoning district, and it not only sets a bad precedent, but spot zoning is invalid. I thank you for the opportunity to comment, and let me also take this moment to congratulate Councilman Rothwell on sitting where you are. It's a challenging and exciting time in Riverhead. I hope you enjoy the work, and I wish you an awful lot of luck. Thank you for
very
the
much.
opportunity.
Appreciate that, Barbara. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Okay.
Supervisor, we have a couple other folks. We'll go next, Chip, to Taki, who wants to make Takwi. Turkun. Okay, she's left the meeting room for the moment. Okay, we'll go then to Mike Foley. Oh, is she back? Okay, we'll go to Mike, then we'll come back to Toki. So Mike Foley wants to make a comment, offer comments for town board resolutions before us today, right, Mike? Mike, I think you need to unmute. You're muted, we can't hear you, we can see you.
Okay.
You're right.
Hi, Mike Foley, Reeves Park, calling again. Prior to these meetings started, Yvette, I requested to speak on the CDA resolution comments and on the public comments after the CDA meeting. I also requested to speak on the resolutions before the town board today, and also in the comments section after the town board today. I didn't get a chance to speak after the resolution, after the CDA meeting. Had I been given an opportunity to speak like I had requested, I would have started off by thanking Dawn for her detailed answer to my question. I totally understand exactly what that money is designated for, and I also understand why the money discussed in Resolution 68 of the town board meeting had to be segregated from that. But before I go into that, I'll just state once again, this format on meetings is not working for me, and it's not working for the most of the people that attempt to have input into this decision-making process. It seems to be one way. I'm thankful that you took the time to answer my question, but just by the way it's stated, that you've got 5 minutes to talk, and if the board feels like responding, they'll respond, is unacceptable in open governance. Yvette, you ran on open governance. You ran on communicating with the people and allowing feedback. This is not working for me. And with that, I will go into my resolution questions. Resolution number 65, the map preparation fee, a mapping and planning preparation fee of $9,500. The amount was identical to an amount that was passed back in February of 2020. I can only assume that that amount is identical because the scope of work, I guess, is identical, and it's mapping and planning another area of Manorville that has been polluted by the Navy and Grumman. I would assume that's the case, and I would appreciate an answer after I quantify it with this. My concern right now is that it seems to be an argument between the Suffolk County Water Authority and the Riverhead Town Water Company. I understand that we want to keep Riverhead footprints covered by Riverhead Town Water, but it also seems to me that this problem involving 120 homes that chose to build their homes where there was no town water supply, who chose instead to dig their own wells, and they lived happily with that until they were polluted by a third party. It would seem to me that we have to be very careful that we do not commit as a town to handling I've heard quotes of between $5 and $12 million to hook up these towns. I've also seen comparisons that the SCWA hookup costs would be less, would be less than it would cost for Riverhead to hook up to it. In my mind, Yvette, if we could get the Navy to pay for this, we have to be reasonable in allowing them to pay for it in a way that is the most cost effective to them. So my question again is the $9,500, and I'll ask Bob to weigh in on this too, does not have any issue in regards to assuming the obligation to hook up in case this litigation fails. We're talking about a lot of money for 120 people, for 35,000 people in the town of Riverhead to be obligated for, and certainly I don't want to take on that risk. And finally, on resolution number 68, the $143,000 allocated to Urban Design Associates, I'm sure they're going to do a wonderful job. This to me is just an extension of the job that they started in the pattern book. I think it's money very well spent, but I would also like to know if the developer should be sharing some of this expense. It seems that if you're doing an EIS, that the developer would have to bear that burden. And it seems to me that the price that we're paying right now for Urban Design Associates work on the construction of this town square would fall within the developer's responsibility. So have you contemplated pushing some of this $143,000 expense off to them? I'll look forward to your answers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I just want to add that when you have meetings and we do, and they're virtual, some people may have some type of difficulties, and we're seeing that it's the same people over and over again. Unfortunately, I don't know if you need a router, an external boost on a router, or maybe change your location. But at the end of every meeting, it's a general question, so if you do miss a comment, you can always add it in at that moment. When we have these town board meetings, it's not a go back and forth, it's a meeting that if we choose as a town board, and you can check with our attorney, and I'll have him chime in a second, that we don't have to allow comment sections, and we don't have to answer questions. However, to be transparent, we have chosen to allow the public to make comments, and if we want to respond, we will respond. So I wanted to make sure that that was very clear. And Bob, can you add to this point?
Well, there's, I think, three that are presently pending. First is the question of the give and take process through this format, the Zoom or otherwise. I agree with the supervisor's comments that the board is not obligated to receive comments from the community. There are certainly different rules and regulations or different formats that a town board can choose to implement. I would point out that it's really comments from the public, not question and answer from the public. So and maybe I'm parsing words a little bit, but it's really to hear from the public with respect to concerns and items that they feel the board may not be considering, as opposed to a back and forth give and take. This board has been more conducive to that than I think prior boards maybe were, because I think in the past prior boards said, we'll hear from you and thank you for your comments, next speaker. On the Riverhead Water District, yes, that's my understanding as far as the financial end of it, and as far as the weighing of whether the town wants to expend those monies, bond those monies, that's totally up to this board. However, there was a time when there was very little water extensions throughout the town. Everybody was serviced almost by wells, and the town over time made the decision to continue to expand the water district, expended the money in order to provide good, solid drinking water to the town residents. It's a decision this board must weigh. Of course, there's always going to be a cost factor to it, and something that you're going to have to weigh out. And I know that you're working with Brookhaven in part to see if there could be some working with respect to the homes that are on the Brookhaven side and the homes that are on the Riverhead side. So maybe there's something to do there. I'm really not sure what the Navy will do short of bringing litigation to compel them to do it. And I forgot what the last one was now. I lost my train of thought.
What was it on? Was it the bonding?
Now, the bonding, I think, again,
Oh,
as I
okay.
said, that's my understanding. What Mr. Foley said was what I understood was the correct statement as to the reasons why the number is what the number is. He was just questioning, whether the board should expend that kind of money in order to provide that water service to the 120 or 60 homes that are in the town of Riverhead jurisdiction.
I think it was under UDA contract
Right.
as an
Well, the
expression.
UDA, oh, yes, that was it, yes. I
See,
mean,
Mike, I listened to you.
generally, I mean, as a general rule of thumb, when the town board is undertaking zoning
Mm.
and making changes, we don't have a developer there yet. We've always undertaken those costs. So I'm not sure how to answer that other than to say that, you know, we're the ones who are making the move. As the other speakers have pointed out, it was a bold and I guess a very unique and a great initiative that this board chose to go down the pattern book route. That we also utilized that to look to acquire this town square. It's the town board who's going to be really the proper party to be undertaking those costs. I don't see how you shift it over to the developer.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're gonna go next and see if Taki is in the meeting room.
Yes, she is. She's gotta unmute herself. Takwi?
There we
you
go.
are. Okay.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Ah, terrific. Good afternoon to each of you on our town board. I'm thankful to be participating today.
Excuse
My
me,
name
can we
is
just
Tammy
have your name and
Burton.
Hamlet, please, for
I'm
the
with Greater
transcriptionist?
Calverton Civic Association.
Taki, if we could just have your name and Hamlet for the transcriptionist, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were hearing that. So my name is Taffy Turchin. I'm the president of the Greater Calverton Civic Association, and that's on whose part I am speaking today. First, I have a question, if you would answer it. May I ask each of the town board members if you were able to read the emails from this morning on Resolution 69?
Taki, this is not a back and forth, this is just an opportunity for you to take 5 minutes and make any comments you wish to make. So it's not gonna be a back and forth dialogue at this time.
Okay, that was going to predicate what I'd present to you. So as I understand it, there are 6...
Taki, I can confirm from the town clerk that they received your comments and they were distributed to the town board.
And make a comment.
So you can go ahead and make your comments, knowing that they received whatever it was that you sent this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, Takwi, we did get a lot of letters this morning, and I believe your letter was in there, so we did get an opportunity to read your letter.
Oh, great. I didn't pen one, but I know that 6 of our members of our Calverton Civic were able to send theirs, and I'd like to read 2 of them to you that should be under the 5-minute time frame, so I'm going to start my little timer here so I can make sure I...
Well, you have 3.5 minutes left, Taki. You burned up some time there.
So from Walter Gazzari, he writes, I'm writing in opposition to the change of zoning to allow for an outdoor car storage facility on Manor Road in Calverton. This proposal is by any measure undesirable for every Calverton resident, all of whom will be adversely affected, except the petitioner. Over the 37 years that I have lived in Calverton, once the greatest agricultural town in New York State, I have witnessed this strip of rich farmland along Route 25 become transformed by previous town boards through the flawed logic, which seemed reasonable at the time, of providing the basic needs of an agricultural community of farmers in the 1950s, into an evolving hodgepodge of amusement parks, container storage facilities, bus depots, large-scale electric generating facilities, euphemistically called solar farms, to conjure a pleasant image, sand mines, asphalt plants, and garbage dumps, all of which destroy rural tranquility and actually serve the needs of a few, if any, Calverton residents. Now we have another insult to our farmers, taxpayers, residents, and predecessors: paved parking lots for industrial vehicle storage, where real farms, not fake ones, once flourished. I do not expect anything of this board other than to honorably and intelligently balance the needs of those who live here with a legitimate expectation of continuing in their environment against commercial interests that would irrevocably change our world for the worse without having to witness it. In my view, the only honorable zoning amendment that can be made at this time by this town board to correct an egregious zoning regulation error of the past by denying this proposed amendment and taking the more courageous step of rezoning the subject parcel from industrial back to agricultural. Thank you for your consideration, Walter Gazzari, 37-year Calverton resident. And if time permits, I have a second, which is a bit shorter. From Debbie Ma, also of Calverton. May not be able to pull hers up, but let's see how far I can get.
How much time?
You have 1 minute left, Taki.
Thank you for that.
Good.
I think my screen is frozen. Debbie Ma concurs and offers her perspective. I believe you've read it. I wanted to be able to say it out loud for the folks who are listening and for the record. Putting up a parking lot as a gateway to Calverton is undesirable. And Joni Mitchell said it. I know I'm younger than most folks on the board, but it definitely resonates with me, those words that you forget what you have until it's gone. They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. So thank you for the time to be able to speak today. And I also want to thank the efforts of the Downtown Committee and the pattern book. I'd like to echo comments made earlier today. And I'd also like to welcome our newest town council person, Mr. Rothwell. You and I do not know one another, and I look forward to a relationship with you. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Supervisor, that's all we have in the meeting room for folks looking to make comments on the resolutions before you and the board today.
Great. Thank you, Devin. Moving forward, Diane, can you please call the resolutions for today?
Resolution number 60.
Resolution to adopt the pattern book as the guideline for future development and adoption of a form-based zoning code necessary to implement the strategies of the pattern book. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Absolutely yes.
Kent,
I'd like to make a little statement here. Riverhead has a unique downtown with its location along the beautiful Peconic and at the entrance of both forks. East End Arts and Suffolk Theater, as well as numerous restaurants and businesses, are some of the highlights of our downtown area. While there are some bright spots in our downtown Riverhead, there is more to be done to reach our full potential. In 2018, I formed the Downtown Revitalization Committee. In 2019, our committee recommended the town consider the creation of a pattern book, and a few months later, Laura Jen Smith and James Wooten joined with me to vote in favor of the creation of a pattern book. The work of the Downtown Revitalization Committee helped jumpstart the revitalization of our downtown, Main Street area, the heart of our town. The work of Urban Design Associates never changed. From the beginning, they were a high-quality group, world-renowned company of designers, architects, and planners who set on an excellent course. But our work does not end here, and there's no time to waste. We have waited long enough. The pattern book is a direct reflection of what our entire community would like to see downtown. I call on this town board and the planning department to roll up our sleeves and make this community vision a reality by codifying the zoning. It is my hope that we can begin this process in the next 2 weeks to be completed by spring. I'm proud to vote yes today to accept the pattern book. Thank you to my fellow board members for supporting this adoption as well. Let's work together to keep the momentum of the pattern book and the Town Square project moving forward.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre,
Yes.
resolution adopted. Resolution 61.
Extends days of operation for Riverhead Raceway under Chapter 259 of the Riverhead Town Code due to COVID-19. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre,
Yes.
resolution adopted. Resolution 62.
Resolution to extend non-pro-tunc authorization of Building and Planning Administration to approve temporary suspension of enforcement of outdoor dining permit fees requirements and zoning district limitations set forth in chapter 253 of Town Code of the Town of Riverhead, subject to specified conditions. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard.
This will help our hospitality industry as best we can. We trying to do everything under our power to help them and get them back in the running, so absolutely yes to this.
Aguirre,
Yes, and I think we're including the seniors in that, right? Which is a great, effort for them, and I think we're gonna expand it. They did get additional, state funding, and it's great that we can, embark on this effort. Definitely yes.
Resolution 63.
Resolution to authorize financial administrator to finalize bond requirements for Town Square project. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Really excited to move forward with this town square project, and I'd also like to take a moment to thank the county and the state for helping with some funding as well. Yes.
Hubbard,
Absolutely yes.
Aguirre,
Yes, this project began in, sometime in February, and, absolutely yes, we're moving forward on a lot of fronts, and we're also including the train station area. So we're working on this cohesively, we're building a nexus between the town square and the train, station, and we're gonna make progress very soon.
resolution adopted. Resolution 64.
Authorizes contract with Lexipol LLC for the Riverhead Police Department. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes, this is a, nice policy management system for them, and yes, absolutely.
Aguirre,
Yes.
resolution adopted. Resolution 65.
Authorizes preparation of map and plan pursuant to town law for the extension of the Riverhead Water District to serve town residents and businesses east of the former Grumman War site, war production site. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre,
Yes, we're extending the, map and plan that we did in Matterville to include east of EPCAL. Apparently there's a plume there, we need to ascertain the extent of the contamination there, and we want everybody to be ready. Today we met with a lot of different government officials, and it looks like and Frank, you were in on that call, and it looks like we're joining forces, and we're hoping that, Brookhaven yesterday joined forces also, so they're gonna, be serviced by the, they're gonna petition the Navy for funds, and then we in Riverhead are gonna petition, the Navy for funds, and hopefully our water district will do the extension, and Brookhaven, the Suffolk County, and we already have the map and plan, so this is, hopefully we're gonna be able to provide clean water as soon as possible to all the areas, both areas affected.
resolution adopted. Resolution 66.
Authorizes supervisor to sign an agreement with Suffolk County for the implementation of a school bus stop arm camera program. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Glad that we're able to work with the Riverhead School District on this. I vote yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre,
Yes.
resolution adopted. Resolution 67.
Authorizes the supervisor to sign second amendment of memorandum of understanding with the Suffolk County for food delivery assistance. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre,
Yes.
resolution adopted. Resolution 68.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with Urban Design Associates LTD for the design of a town square. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre,
Yes.
resolution adopted. Resolution 69.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice to consider a local law to amend chapter 301 entitled Zoning and Land Development of the Riverhead Town Code Outdoor Car Storage. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes, this is just for the public response, so I would like to hear from the public, so yes.
Bayrock,
Likewise, yes.
Kent,
Yes, while I am not, and I don't like this location for this and a few other things, I do think it's very important for us to hear from the community, so I vote yes for the public hearing.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre,
Yes.
resolution adopted. Resolution 70.
Ratifies the authorization for supervisor to execute an agreement for disciplinary charges. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes,
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 71.
accepts the retirement of a police officer. So moved.
Vote please.
Seconded.
Okay. Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
And I wish Dennis Kavanaugh well. Yes.
Hubbard,
Dennis Kavanaugh is one of the best police officers I've ever worked with. He's, as one cop to another, the best compliment you can ever say is he's a cop's cop. Dennis is a true cop's cop. He has worked tirelessly in the town of Riverhead. He has worn, the chief will agree, has worn many hats over his career with the different things that he's done, the different training he's received. And I wish him nothing but the best in his retirement. He will surely be missed. Yes.
Aguirre,
Thank you for your service. Best of luck. Yes.
Thank you, Dennis.
resolution adopted. Resolution 72.
Appoints a justice court clerk. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 73.
Appoints an assessment clerk. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 74.
Appoints a public safety dispatcher 1. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 75.
Appoints a water treatment plant operator trainee. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 76.
Appoints a wastewater treatment plant operator 2A. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 77.
Appoints a provisional wastewater treatment plant operator. And, sorry, I gotta put on my glasses.
3A.
3A, thank you. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 78.
Accepts highway superintendent's personnel report and request for town board resolution to effectuate personnel requests. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yeah, so this will bring the highway staff from 35 up to 36, based on the anticipated extra roads that they will be receiving. Yes, I am in support of this.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, finally, the highway department has enough staffing. I know there was in the beginning of the year going back and forth and COVID, but Frank, thank you for making sure everything worked out, and now we're online where we had to be. Moving forward, yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 79.
Ratifies authorization for the town clerk to publish and post a health advertisement for automotive equipment operators. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 80.
Authorizes sewer district employees to attend seminars. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, do we know how much this training is gonna cost? Is Bill here? Yes.
Bill, you changed.
Yes, very much so.
Says $1,030.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see
Doug was
that.
in there.
So it's only one person? Oh, two
For
employees,
each,
right?
for two.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's $1,030 $150 for each person, right?
Okay, so they're not gonna just take the training and leave us right away, right? Cause that happens, and I think I've been trying to institute that. I know we had a training where 2 members went at $3,000, then they get a certification and they leave us, so we need to have some type of service from them. So was that addressed?
I don't believe in this situation, no. But the cost is not to exceed $1,030.50 each for both employees.
Okay, so can we amend this resolution to include the past, Bob? You know, in the past, we had included a certain provision that if they leave within, 2 years, 3 years, they have to reimburse us. Because unfortunately, I know, especially now, across towns, people are getting certifications and you're paying $3,000 with the cost of hotel.
I won't be able to do it right here on the spot because I don't have access to the other resolutions, so either you
What recourse
would have
do
to
we have?
amend it, you would have to table it.
Oh, we wanna
You
send
can
it to
table
training.
it, you can table it, cause it's not, this isn't until late March.
Okay, so let's
So
do that,
if we
just so we
table it
can
for
include it.
2 weeks
So
or so.
we're just gonna table it, just to
Yeah.
make sure that we have that provision in there. And then in the future, when somebody's taking extensive training, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, we should make sure that we have that provision in there, just to protect the town, because if we hire another employee, we're gonna pay another $3,000. And it's to protect us, and also the employee will encourage them to stay, and hopefully we can reward them with a promotion down the line. So it's usually an effective form, and it's used in many organizations, so we'll table it for now, we'll just bring it back the next time. And then, Bob, can you just incorporate that wording? And it's not that we're opposed to that, we're just gonna make sure that we take care of taxpayers' money.
I will search, I believe we did this last year on a resolution, we attached a condition to it that they,
We did.
would agree not to leave within, a year or 2 years, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it.
Oh, no, it's a
right now.
fine, I remember that was
Yeah.
as a result of my request.
Correct.
And I don't remember the exact wording, but we just wanna make sure that it's in there, so it's not gonna, stop the person from going to training, as, Tim said, and we'll just bring it back up and make sure that it's correct. Again, the goal here is the taxpayers', money.
I'm reading through this now, and it does say that if, in the event that the employee leaves town service within 2 years of their hire date, that they shall be required to reimburse the district for the cost and expense of the training program.
Perfect then.
So I think.
Okay, so then we do
Yeah.
have it in here.
Okay.
Okay, that was my question. Reimburse the district, okay?
And just to clarify, it's $1,030, not to exceed $1,030 each.
Each.
Per
It's
person.
not a total, it's
Correct.
per
Right.
person.
Right, okay, so, and that's with the hotel and everything. Okay, so it is in there, we'll make sure from now on. Great, okay, so we're gonna keep it up, we're gonna withdraw the table. I didn't get a second anyway, so we just take a vote on it.
Yeah, we all voted yes already,
Right,
so
yeah,
it's
so-
just up to you.
Right,
We were
okay,
just-
so we're not gonna table it.
Yeah, no, there was no second.
So it's just,
Yes,
actually, all right, so that's your vote?
yeah, we're
Okay.
going forward.
Okay, very good.
We just
Very good.
needed some clarification and making
That's-
sure that provision will always be in there.
Okay.
Great, thank
Very
you,
good.
Diane.
You're welcome. Resolution adopted. We'll move on to Resolution 81.
Mm-hmm.
Reappointment of member to the Riverhead Open Space Park
Thank you.
Preservation Committee, so moved.
Seconded,
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
yes.
Kent.
Want to thank Marjay Savito, she volunteers on a couple of committees. I think she represents recreation on this committee, right? Frank, that's your committee. Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
And I
Good.
just wanna say, speedy recovery by March, she just got out of surgery, and I hope she's feeling better, and best wishes to her.
Yes, thank
Yes.
you, Frank. That's good.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 82.
Approves budget transfer for purchase of an additional 2020 or newer Freightliner dump truck, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 83.
Extends bid for electric motor repair or replacement, including emergency repair for the Riverhead Water District. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 84.
Awards rebid for food and meat products. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 85.
Authorizes the release of foundation security for Rajesh Mehta, Beconic Management Group LLP. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 86.
2020 EWR project number 81903, closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 87.
Ratifies the authorization of payment of the Association of Towns annual membership dues for 2021. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 88.
Hazard mitigation adoption for brick funding. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 89.
Authorizes the filing of an application for New York State assistance from the Household Hazardous Waste State Assistance Program and signing of the associated state contract under the appropriate laws of New York State. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 90.
Amends the resolution 3194 of 2020, authorizes the supervisor to execute amended PSA with H2M for hazardous materials. So moved.
Vote, second, can I get a second?
Seconded.
Okay, great. Vote please. Thank you.
Is that resolution 194?
90.
Okay.
90.
90.
Right, but we referenced amends resolution
3194.
Right,
2020.
that's, yeah, but that isn't correct.
That's not the right one?
Yeah, I think it's 194.
Okay.
It's just saying corrected. Anyway, Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 91.
Points and approval of the fee schedule for the Rayner Group, PE and LS, ELLC, as consulting engineers and land surveyors. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 92.
Authorization for the supervisor to execute an amended agreement with National Fire and Safety Solutions Incorporated, Nunc Pro Tunc. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 93.
Authorizes renewal of a Music Works license agreement with the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, non pro tunc. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 94.
Approved special event, chapter 255, application for Chicken Kids. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
I always love their name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Such a great effort in our community, and I hope they can hold their event this year. You have our full support, absolutely, and yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 95.
Approved special event, chapter 255 application for Riverhead Rotary Garden Festival. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, let's
Res-
hope this effort takes off again. This is another application that last year, they weren't able to, create funds, and we're very supportive of the Rotary Club. Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 96.
Okay.
Pays the bills.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Thank you, Diane.
You're welcome.
Okay, this concludes our resolutions for today. We are moving on at this point to the open public comments on any other matter. Devin, is there anyone using Zoom wishing to make any general comments? Or Chip, do we have people in the waiting room? Please bring them forward.
Okay, so the first person we're gonna bring forward is Barbara Blass,
Okay,
who's looking to make a comment today. Hi there.
welcome back.
Oh, I think you're just on mute. If you could unmute yourself.
Right-hand side, yep, there we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to make some brief additional comments, public comments this time on the comprehensive plan process. As we know, the plan is a sustainable and a dynamic document, and the challenge is always to formulate a plan that balances the economy and the environment and is fair and equitable to all. In my opinion, the composition of the Central Advisory Committee lacks balanced representation. A broader environmental perspective is needed, as well as a representative of the community at large. The most significant stakeholders are the people who live here, the taxpayers. A representative from the public would ensure that the concepts to be reviewed by the advisory committee remain well-grounded and reflective of the community's vision, which is, after all, the foundation of any planning process. Again, let the successful inclusive process for the development of the now adopted downtown pattern book, which is actually the first step in a comprehensive plan update, let that effort spearheaded by the councilwoman serve as a model for the broader town-wide comprehensive plan update. Supervisor, here's a suggestion. I don't know if it's something that you'd be willing to entertain, but since the Civic Roundtable is convening this Friday, why not seize that opportunity to initiate community engagement? Perhaps the consultants or the planning director can provide some questions to these civic leaders to bring back to their constituents, and that would start the information gathering process. You have just about every civic group represented in that meeting, and it's just a suggestion respectfully put forward. I have a brief comment or concern about Riverhead Solar 2. The application for the 36 megawatt solar facility in Calverton, as you know, is now being reviewed by the newly created Office of Renewable Energy Siting, which is in the Department of State. And that's under 94C regulations. They're not even formulated and adopted yet. But the regulations as proposed are more inclusive of the host community. Their concerns relying very heavily on input from local officials as well as residents' input, especially in connection with community benefits. So those are all really good things to look forward to. But that being said, I'm not sure you're aware that all the documents that the town previously submitted by your board, the town board and the planning board, on Riverhead Solar 2 have been purged from the record. I don't know if you're aware of that. The 14 pages containing no less than 58 comments on this application submitted on your behalf by Mr. Murphy, your planning director, as well as comments and resolutions from the planning board, are no longer in the application and part of that public record. I don't know if someone withdrew them. I don't know if it was a request on your part, but I think it's something that if you did not know, perhaps somebody should look into the reason for that, because your comments remain your comments. The application has not changed. Those comments should go with the application. So I thank you very much for the opportunity to comment again on today's proceedings. Have a great afternoon.
Okay.
Jefferson or Bob, do you guys know why that might have happened, or were either of you aware?
I'm still going through the record. I know that we also have to make an intervenor funds request by February 8th. I believe we have it all on Word format, so once I have a chance to get through it, we can resubmit that in the 94C format.
Okay.
I would certainly attack that. I'll be honest, I'm still getting through it, and I haven't gone through their entire record.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, Supervisor, next in the meeting room, we have Kelly McClinchy.
here we go.
If you could just state your name and hamlet for the record, and of course, you'll have 5 minutes.
Sure. Kelly McClinchy, Manorville, New York. I thank you for the opportunity to comment today. I will keep it brief. I won't take the 5 minutes. But I do want to make a comment, of course, regarding, sorry, there was an issue with the video there, sorry. Regarding the water and partly the letter sent to Suffolk County Water Authority in regard to EPCAL. As the town board knows, I am well aware of what's happening with the water. I've been an advocate for the residents of Manorville for well over a year now. We seem to be making some progress, but I have some concerns with what I'm hearing, what I know of the letter that was issued to Suffolk County Water Authority in terms of how it relates to the residents of Manorville. We're in a position where we're getting closer to seeing public water extended to the area. And everything that I'm hearing is leading me to believe, as a resident, that Riverhead wants to block Suffolk County Water Authority in every capacity within the town border of Riverhead, not just limited to EPCAL, which is a completely different situation. I'm not going to pretend like I'm involved in that, because I'm not. My main concern here is that, you know, and I will again be the voice for the residents in Manorville right now. These people are living day to day, and their nervousness, their anxiety about drinking this water is growing. The more results we get back from the county, the more that anxiety grows. It's very important to us to let you know that we don't care where the water comes from. Comes from.
We'll
Did
get
we
her.
get her?
Sure.
I'm sorry, should I continue?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
We don't care where the water comes from, whether it's Riverhead Water District or Suffolk County Water Authority. But there is an urgent need, and I don't think that can be denied by anybody. And we want the process to be quick. We want it to be affordable to these residents. These residents should not bear the burden. And it seems to me like there's a bit of a prolonged fight going on here between the two water providing entities. And what I'm seeing only hurts the residents. It's not in the best public interest, and I just wanted to make that clear, that is the stance on that. We need the water, and it has to come quickly. Thank you.
Kelly, thank you for your comments. Certainly I've been following all of the reports and the tests that are happening. Is she gone already?
She's still in the room. She just,
The tests that have been happening in your area, and I understand what you're saying. We hear you, and certainly we want to do, get water to you guys. Anne Marie, were you?
And Kelly, I fully understand what you're saying. Our goal here is to hook you up with clean, safe water as soon as possible. That's why we've taken the approach of doing a map and plan, so when you are ready, today we approved a map and plan east of EPCAL, because apparently there's a fume from F-14 fighter plane that crashed near there, and there is some contamination. Our goal is to get you the water as soon as possible. We're not into any engagement as far as going back and forth. The Suffolk County Water Authority has asserted jurisdiction here in Riverhead on many, many occasions, and we have to make sure that if the Navy does provide compensation, that you get the water that you need as soon as possible. It has in the past. The Navy has provided funds, and we have the Riverhead Suffolk Water District has hooked up certain homes, and Brookhaven water contamination. I think it was from the Brookhaven National Lab. There was one time that there was a grant given, and the Suffolk County provided theirs. We want to keep our water district here. We want to ensure that you get as soon as you can, the fastest and the best water that you can. Keep it our water district, and in Brookhaven, if there is funds coming from the Navy, than, the Suffolk County Water. There is no turf war here. The goal again is to provide safe, clean water and not delay this, and we've paid already. We've taken the initiative, we've provided we provided a map and plan that people can just easily use and quickly set you up, and now we're extending that. So we're doing everything that we can, and I just wanna add, Anne Marie is, a water expert here in Riverhead, and I would like her, cause she has a lot of historical, legal, perspective in this regard. So, Anne Marie, can you just add
Yes,
a point to this?
I don't believe I am the water expert.
Oh, close to it.
I thank you very much, I thank you. But all I can do is assure all the residents within the town of Riverhead, on behalf of each and every member of this town board, they are not, quote, doing anything other than being proactive and advocating for its residents. They are not sitting idle. They are spending general funds money to advance a project to provide clean, safe drinking water to you. The resolution you also saw on the agenda today didn't stop at those residents, the 62 Riverhead residents south of EPCAL. It is now extending it east of the Grumman site. The town of Riverhead is not, quote, going to engage in any battle or war other than a battle with the United States Navy, and the town board, each and every member, will advocate at the federal, state, local level for funding. The reality of it is, whether it's Suffolk County Water Authority providing water to the Brookhaven residents, or Riverhead Water District providing clean, safe drinking water to its residents, Suffolk County Water Authority and Riverhead Water District will in fact be seeking funding at the federal and state level. So it's not, quote, a battle or a competition. I actually would like to believe everyone is united and on the same side, and the town of Riverhead is going to continue its advocacy for the clean, safe drinking water for everyone, and support the efforts of Brookhaven and support the efforts within our town. It's not a war. It's a war, it's a war for clean water.
Yes, well said, thank you, Anne.
Spoken like an expert.
Yes. Thank you, Anne Marie.
The new water expert.
Well said.
But Kelly, we understand your concerns, and our first priority above all else is to get clean water to you and your neighbors.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, any more comments? Do we have anyone else in the waiting room?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Okay, we'll move on to John McAuliffe, who's looking to make an open comment here today.
John, he's back?
He's back.
Yep, he was here a little early. There we go. Right-hand side, come on.
There
Your
we
mic.
go.
There we go.
Okay, thank you. John McAuliffe from Rolling Woods in Riverhead. Sorry to come back. I understand why you cut out dialogue, but it sort of leaves conversations incomplete. And what I would have emphasized had I been able to come back to you before is that I'm not disputing at all the issues of sovereignty of Riverhead over its water system, or of the water within areas of the town responsibility. I think your case is well made, and that's what you spoke to eloquently. However, I think what is unfortunate is the first paragraph, which, in addition to the other points I raised, throws in the 1,600 acre figure with no caveat about the supervisor's intention to try to separate out the environmentally sensitive acreage, so it's really no longer part of the land that the Gervasians or whoever winds up actually owning the land is able to use. So those are the 2 points. One is, along with those other 3 points, that the 1,600 acres shouldn't have been mentioned, and finally that more power to you on the water question. I hope you win.
And John, I'm gonna have Anne Marie come back out here, the goal is to always preserve the 1,150 acres in EPCAL, and I will not waver in that regard. I see that you interpret it a little bit different, but we were gonna safeguard no one building water in that location. So Anne Marie, would you just come up here and just add a couple of, points that we have discussed in the past, please?
So, Mr. McAuliffe, I appreciate your comments with respect to our water district. The town of Riverhead, as we all know, has certain very important assets. Our water district, our sewer district, and our police department. And I think all of the town board members would agree they will protect and preserve those assets. They are vital to the residents of the town of Riverhead. With respect to EPCAL, this supervisor and these members of the town board have supported the preservation and protection of the habitat, grasslands, and in all the submissions I have had the privilege of working on behalf of this town board has made it clear that that is the goal and shall be continued to be the goal, and in every submission with the New York State DEC, we repeat it, we exemplify it, we define it, and unless I'm directed otherwise, I'm gonna follow the edict of this town board and continue in that vein.
Thank you so much, and that's exactly where we are, and that's where we will always continue to be. Devin, do we have anyone else in our?
Yes, we do. We'll go next to Mark Hobner.
Okay.
If you could state your name on Hamlet, please, for the record. You'll have 5 minutes for your
yes.
comments.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Mark. Mark Hobner from Aquabog, and I'm here on my own behalf today. Although I've been on the Environmental Advisory Committee for the last 2 years since inception. And Mr. Rothwell, welcome. And I've worked with, I think it's your son, Kenny? Yes. Yes? He's an amazing man, and you should be very proud.
I am, thank you very much, appreciate that.
You bet. I know it's good to hear as a parent every once in a while. I've participated in the downtown revitalization project's community engagement period, which I thought was very refreshing. It was good to see a lot of different voices and people in the room over several sessions. I've also been an integral part of the envisioning of Plum Island over the years. Again, 200 people in a room with different positions and ideas and everything else. And I think these are all essential, certainly for our own comprehensive plan. I'm very encouraged that the UDA project came to fruition and that everybody was satisfied with it from what I see today. I know it was $175,000 if I recall. It's a lot of money, and it seems like we got our money's worth, and that's good. Looking forward to the AKRF project, I believe that's over $250,000. It's $675,000. And from looking at their slide deck that they presented to you people a couple of weeks or months ago, community engagement is the very first thing that needs to be done. I'm curious as to when this is going to start. I haven't heard from them asking me what I'd like to see in this town in 10 years. I'd like to springboard off of what Ms. Blass said about using the existing civic associations, because we have the pulse on certainly all of our populations and can extend that to people who don't usually speak with a lot of simple things like surveys and so on behalf of AKRF, and collate those and bring them back.
Jeff?
I'm also concerned that the Central Advisory Committee looks a little top-heavy, that there's no representation for things like energy, which kind of precludes our work for the climate-smart communities for the DEC in the state, and our Rev 2030 goals for the state as well. I don't see voices from the people that need affordable housing. We haven't talked about carrying capacity, and I know we've got a town of almost 40,000 people, and we hate the traffic now, and to go to 60,000 people may be a lot to ask. Open space doesn't seem to be on that list. Seniors, town of Southold is now the oldest average age community in New York State, and if I have anything to do with it, I'm going to drag that forward for Riverhead as well. So we've got another 6 items on our 2003 comprehensive plan, and all of which are essential to creating a truly comprehensive plan. You have an amazing talent pool of volunteers from the community. This is evidenced by the Downtown Revitalization Project, and I'm not going to speak for the Environmental Advisory Committee right now, but I am offering my own limited talent to the creation of our new comprehensive plan. I have another dozen people in the background right now who are of varying talents, and I would ask that you press them into volunteer service, and I hope you'll take advantage of our offer soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, Jeff, can you please come up, and add to these questions? Which we know we have spoken and many are gonna be addressed in the very near future.
Yep, absolutely. In fact,
thank you.
community engagement is absolutely one of the priorities of this effort. We're just not there yet. We're still finalizing the outreach to the department heads and the outside agencies. We had our very first kickoff meeting with the Central Advisory Committee. The next step that we're currently working on is the community-wide survey. We're planning for the breakout groups in the town, include an environmental committee, to which the prior speaker was not aware of. We're gonna have different breakout groups, one for farmland preservation, very critical. Richard Wines, the TDR committee, the Ag Advisory, Farmland Select, Rob Carpenter are all gonna be a part of that. Route 58 corridor, that's gonna be a separate breakout group.
The civic groups?
The civic
also?
groups that's gonna be part of the community. We just don't want them to the civics, they're gonna be an integral part of the community groups, but the community as a whole is definitely gonna be a group that we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be having, hate to say to have Zoom virtual meetings, that's a horrible way to have a kickoff meeting with the community, because what we really envisioned was what we did with the pattern book, where we had the open charrettes, where we had a meet and greet with the consultants face to face. You shook people's hand, they got to know who you are, we got to know who they are. It's ready to do that. It's kind of like dating through an app. How do you know who you're actually gonna get until you meet them face to face?
There will be full support, community involvement, breakout groups, and this is just the beginning, and they're creating the path, and I am confident, I know we've had this conversation, and there's no doubt that there will be community engagement.
That's gonna be absolutely critical.
It is.
So, there's gonna be heavy community-wide engagement. I'm sure, Ms. Blass and I are gonna be speaking at length probably on a daily basis.
I have to go take a
I've been speaking with the various environmental groups. They're gonna be helping us to, get the environmental, strategy and an outline and objectives, what's important to them, so that we can incorporate their voices in as a group to be reckoned with and to be included as part of the comprehensive plan update. So we're doing the outreaches, right now. It's not even, we're just at the beginning stages of it.
Okay.
And again, I know I'm repeating myself, to have to prepare a document of this magnitude and importance during a pandemic, not having face-to-face meetings, is a learning curve for everybody involved. It's taking us a little bit longer than we expected, but please bear with us, we're not gonna leave you out of it.
Great, and that's good to hear.
Well, I just wanted to-
Catherine, I know, can you hold on 1 second? Devin, can you please come forward and finish up the meeting? I have to go as a commissioner, take a vote at the moment, and they're calling me in for that. And can you conclude the meeting? And thank you, everyone, and be safe.
Well, I wanna make a comment,
Go ahead.
Jefferson, but I can wait until after, but I wanted to say it
Oh.
before the meeting ends.
Yeah, she was just
No, that's
excusing
okay. She
herself.
just has-
She has-
Oh, okay.
I have a
All right.
Palm Barrens Commission
Yeah.
vote.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand, I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I got confused by what you said. Just a couple of things, Jefferson, you mentioned, I actually feel like I mean, it is a good group, not to take anything away from the people who are on the group, but I had spoken to Tim a couple weeks ago. I do think, it should be community driven, there should be more community people involved. So you mentioned, well, I know it's hard because we're having to do a lot by Zoom, but we do monitor and adjust and we're figuring it out.
Yep.
So if you're having Zoom meetings with civics, couldn't you have Zoom meetings with some of these stakeholder groups like we did for the pattern book? We met with all the stakeholder groups. Couldn't, perhaps the town environmental committee do a Zoom?
We're gonna have the breakout groups, but it's not gonna just be the environmental committee, it's gonna be environmental, that would be like, a breakout group, inviting all the different, like, group for the East End should be invited, Peconic Land Trust should be invited to that meeting. I know there's a lot more, community, environmental groups out there that we're gonna invite them all to that breakout group and hear what their issues are. and formulate strategies to address those issues and concerns, and then we'll bring it back to the whole, to the central committee, and flesh all these issues out.
Jeff, there seems to be a disconnect that the civics feel like they're not gonna be part of this.
They'll be part,
This-
absolutely.
I know they are. This is really, this can only be done with the residents and the civics. And it's being broken down not only by civic groups, but we're also breaking it down by hamlet. And we're gonna go individually with hamlets, meet with everybody, meet with whoever's interested in having a say or wanting to do something. We will meet with every one of those people.
And it's not gonna just,
Virtually, unfortunately, right
Right.
now, but maybe that will change.
yeah, and it's not gonna be a one and done where we just go out to them
No,
once or
no,
twice.
no, no.
It's at one point, it's probably gonna become a monthly effort, so.
It seems like because they're not on the CAC, that they're upset they're not included. And I see it completely opposite. They're the foundation for what we have to build the comprehensive plan off of.
And we
Without
haven't,
them, you.
right, and we're not there yet. And we hope
Right.
to have the survey done by the end of, this month, February month. And then start our meet and greet with the community probably in March.
Yeah, I'm just suggesting, and you're saying it would be considered breakout groups, that some of the committees, some of our committees get an opportunity to.
Oh, yeah,
weigh in.
absolutely.
Like, I know the downtown committee brings a wealth of knowledge, and the
Mhm.
environmental committee
Sure.
is concerned, although they do have Chuck Thomas, who's from the other CAC.
Yeah.
Who, will represent, but the environmental committee is concerned that the environment is such an important component of this whole thing.
Well, it's
So-
funny you should say that. I had an half an hour phone conversation with Bob DeLuca today about the whole pattern, pattern book on the brain, the comprehensive plan update and the need to address the environmental issues and concerns. And I threw out at least a half dozen things that I'm concerned about as a planner looking at Riverhead. I'm sure he has more, so he's gonna help me draft a strategy and outline to help address his concerns, and then we'll include the environmental committee, all the other, Peconic Land Trust and all the rest of the, other organizations and community groups in that effort.
And actually, Mark Hopner is a great resource.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
He's on a lot of different organizations.
Yep, he and Barbara Blass both are very knowledgeable. Barbara, I know.
So,
worked,
I'm sure
years
that
ago
Barbara
on the first
Blass,
one,
and I
so
know that if
We're gonna
she's-
lean on those people pretty hard, and I
Yeah.
hope they're ready for it, because
That's great.
that's all part of it.
That's good to hear, Tim, and I know they were involved in the last process.
I know, for example, and just during the first one that comes to mind, our wetland regulations need to be stronger, our tree preservation efforts need to be stronger, Peconic Bay protection needs to be stronger. All these things sea level rise is such a critical one. The one thing I raised at the committee meeting, some people believe in global warming, some don't. We're not gonna get into that debate with the comprehensive plan. What we do know is that sea level is rising. And how does that affect Southampton? Well, Superstorm hit, really didn't affect us directly. It hit Nassau County. Well, we're cause and effect. We're now having the effect of Superstorm Sandy because a lot of lower income population were displaced as a result of Sandy. The state reacted, creating a huge, nice loan program for new construction for lower income residents. Guess who's moving to Riverhead with those new lower income grants and loans from the state as a result of sea level rise? Cause and effect.
I can't believe anyone wouldn't believe in global warming at this point.
Well, we're not gonna get into this.
No.
We're not,
Okay,
but,
we have a couple other
but we
people
do
in the
have.
meeting room I think we wanna
but
try to get to.
Bottom line is as a result of sea level rise, it has a budgetary effect on the residents of Riverhead, so.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Chip, I think we have a couple more people we wanna get to. We'll go to Mike Foley. I think he's looking to make a comment.
Yeah, hi, Mike Foley of Reeves Park. Perception and reality are two different words, but the fact of the matter is, in politics, perception is reality. And what we've heard over the last couple of minutes deals with two realities and two perceptions. I listened with Kelly McClinchy's discussion about her desire to get water, not caring where it comes from, as long as it comes from somewhere and that it's clean. We know that she's a victim of a third-party poisoning of her area. And we know that we're trying to get the Department of Navy to step up and pay for it. There have been studies over the last year, from what I have seen, it looks, they measure the cost of hooking up SCWA or Riverhead Water. And it seems that SCWA is cheaper to hook up than Riverhead. Now, if that's wrong, that's fine. But right now, those are the only facts that I have. And with the SCWA fighting with Riverhead amongst themselves to find out who's going to provide the water, I think if SCWA and Riverhead came to an agreement in principle that a study be done, that the entity that is the least expensive be the one that we direct the Department of Navy to pay, would be a very good settlement. It would be something that, again, we sound to, you say we want to help and we want to get everything done, and the faster the better, but I just heard somebody talking on behalf of Riverhead Water, that Riverhead Water is going to be provided for everyone in their footprint. That is their goal. And right now, I believe the goal should be Riverhead Water and SCWA should team up, do a legitimate study, what is the cost gonna be, and get together to get that bill to the neighbor. That was 2 minutes out of my 5 minutes, so let me go quickly. Bob, I disagree with your statements that this town board's governance has been open as prior boards. I first got involved in civic discussion at the town board at public hearing venues in 2003, when the master plan that went in the dead of night, allowed strip malls to be developed on the historic Sound Avenue corridor, right outside my community in Reeves Park. They were gonna put Kenny Barra's 2.3-acre development in there for a strip mall, and a mutt from Southampton named Broyden had control of 14 acres on the northwestern side of our community. It was a historic corridor that the master plan was going to allow development on. And myself and hundreds of other people on the North Shore, for 10 years, went up against Phil Cardinal's board, up against Sean Walter's board, and over the course of 10 years, turned the tide. We got the town and we got the county to purchase the land, and we now have a wonderful September 11th park, the Tom Kelly Memorial Park, out of one of our brothers in Reeves Park that went down in that trade center. And we have open space now, the development rights of farming on that farm done by the county, thanks in large part to Al Krupski and people on the board that have helped. But it happened as a result of not comments, but dialogue. People going up to that podium, talking to the town board members, asking for answers, getting dialogue, getting a consensus, and moving forward together, or agreeing that we disagree and holding those people accountable on election day. So for Bob to say that this venue is as open as in the past, it is not. And I have to tell you, I am hopeful that before the November election, the COVID has the ability to be suppressed enough that we can go back to town board meetings at town hall and have a dialogue so that we can move forward together. And now finally, Bob, I don't want to beat you up too much, so now that I've said the tough things, let me ask you a question on behalf of the RNPC, the Riverhead Neighborhood Preservation Coalition. We'd like to get an update on the litigation on behalf of our town by the firm of Thomas Volz against the DEC to contest their lead status in the CMA mine issue. You know, we listened to Manaville. We know what happened in Flint, Michigan when our water was poisoned. The CMA mine situation presents a pollution that could endanger every home in our town. And we have a vertical mine being dug right next to, contiguous with, a Superfund site that dumped. If you could, Bob, please give us an update on the status of that litigation, and if we are still within the time limits of the Article 78 statute of limitations.
Thank you, Mike, for your comments. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mike, I'm not sure I exactly said what you stated I said, so first and foremost, I take some question or you know, comments with a grain of salt, because I don't think I said this process with the Zoom is better or worse than what was done prior to Zoom. I made the comment that town boards can have always, at the point when it was comments, not dialogue, and whether boards decided to do a dialogue or give and take is another issue. And I know that a lot of the discussions with respect to the projects that you mentioned took place both during meetings and probably just as much during periods when the town board members were in the town hall and you could come in and see them and speak to them and raise your concerns. But that's an aside. With respect to CMA mines, Mr. Volz's office, and in particular Dave Arnstead, did reach out to me. He's hoping to file the Article 78 on or before January 27th. His sense is that it would be a 4-month period of time running from the date when they actually served us in October, but to be safe, due to the fact that the original neg deck dated back to September, I believe it was September 29th, it's his feeling that to preserve those rights, we file our Article 78 on or before that date. Also, as the case of seeker law is concerned, there's a lot of decisions that say the time period to commence proceedings does not begin until such time as the final action has been taken. In this case, there hasn't been a permit issued. There is one case, I can't remember the exception to the rule, which stated that the time period started to click from the point when the agency actually made their seeker declaration. So, getting back to the question at hand, he has been working on it. He met with Jeffrey Seaman, who was very involved in the process, was hired by the town board in December of 2019 to provide comments to the DEC in respect to their request for lead agency status. And he has indicated to myself that his intentions are to have that filing done on or before January 27th.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Chip, we'll bring forward now Taki, who I believe is the last person in the meeting room looking to comment here during the open comment period.
Lights.
Taki, you just have to unmute.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi there. I have a public comment, and it won't be 5 minutes. I would like to put in a request respectfully about the timing for this Friday's Civic Roundtable meeting. It's slated at 11:30 a.m. and on the invitation. This makes it impossible for a real-time roundtable discussion during the workday. After speaking to several members of the Civic Roundtable, there's been agreement, and I respectfully request a 6 p.m. meeting for the 3 meetings a year that are held, that we enjoy with our elected officials, Legislator Krupski, Senator Zeldin's office, our police chief, and it's hosted by our supervisor. That's it. It's short and sweet. Do wish, Devin, if you would relay that to our supervisor, I'd appreciate it very much.
Okay, we'll do that indeed. And you can always reach out directly, as you know, Taki, to the legislative aide, Donna, in our office. You can always reach out to her directly. I know you have her contact information. Okay, Chip, is that it in the meeting room? Okay, that's it. So that concludes our meeting. We'll ask for a first and a second, please, to close the meeting.
Before we close, can we just wish our town clerk a happy birthday today?
Oh, absolutely. Diane, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Diane. And many, many more.
She was wearing a crown earlier. I noticed she took it off for the meeting.
I didn't even know.
None of us knew. It was a sneaky birthday.
Happy birthday.
Was wearing the sash and a crown. I didn't know that.
Okay, so can we have a first and a second?
Second.
Did I get a first?
First.
Motion.
Jump in the gun.
Whatever you need.
All opposed, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.